2 days after President Obama secured enough votes in the U.S. Senate to sustain congressional action disapproving the Iran nuclear deal, Michael Bennett announced that he will support the deal. Bennett also announced on Friday that he will present a legislative plan that would increase security funding for Israel. Natasha, this it was, I think, great timing from our Senator Michael Bennett that we heard about this on the Friday before Labor Day weekend. I'm glad that we'll be able to cover it here on this program. I'm not sure how many other programs will be able to cover it between now and then, but he was a holdout. He was one of the 10 undecided senators, and 2 days ago, the deciding vote was, I guess, or at least the deciding person who would restrict opposite action in Congress was made in Maryland, so it was a little bit safer to come out. Just well-played politics or a well-reasoned delay from our friend Mr. Bennett?
Probably a little bit of both. I think that the timing is not a surprise. I think that his decision to support it is not a surprise either. And let's be clear, we're dealing with a double negative here. I mean, people are choosing to back the deal so that they can sustain a veto. It gets really, really complicated after that point. Bennett, though, making his decision to make to announce late, though, I think says that his seat is a little less steady than Democrats in Colorado probably want it to be, because he wasn't willing to be that deciding vote, that flip vote that would change history essentially on this particular deal. And then, not surprisingly, Cory Gardner, of course, has come out against the Iran deal. So we're sort of seeing politics play out as expected, but I do think that it was good for Bennett to put his name on one side of the fence or the other.
David, the Iran deal has been huge nationally, really internationally, but when it comes to Colorado politics and next year, regardless of the timing, what effect do you think of Bennett's stance will have on his race?
Well, Colorado, like the nation, is roughly 2-1 against the deal, so it will be harmful now. And let's just say he gets elected and then reelected and he's up 12 years from now. Then when Iran has the nuclear bomb and intercontinental ballistic missiles, which this deal authorizes it to buy, he's going to look especially bad and will be in a disastrous situation in part because of him. Now, to his credit, he consulted with Gary Hart, who favors the deal, and Gary Hart is certainly a person with decades of expertise on security issues, although I think he's making a mistake on this one. Senator Bennett is helping two fundamental transformations of President Obama. One is a drastic U.S. retreat from the Middle East in general, with the intended purpose of elevating Iran's sphere of influence. The theory is that the only reason the Iranians are radical Islamic revolutionaries trying to impose their totalitarian system everywhere is because the U.S. has been mean to them, like in supporting the coup that overthrew their government in 1950s. But I think that's a serious misunderstanding of the genuine revolutionary ideological fervor of Iran. And secondly, the transformation of the United States towards the banana republic model, the caudillo model of South America, where we have the most consequential treaty of this century. And Obama refuses to submit it to the Senate for ratification, where it would not come close to getting the 2/3 necessary to ratify this extremely important treaty, and instead the Senate and the House acquiesce in this Caesarist power grab by Obama and set up a new procedure whereby the deal goes into effect unless they can get a 2/3 majority to vote against it. That's the opposite of what our Constitution says.
Eric, you have to follow both Caesarist and Banana Republic, so good luck first with your comments here. But I guess my question goes to, it seemed that Senator Bennett wanted to kind of have a cake and eat it too. I support the Iran deal, but I'm going to submit a legislative plan to increase funding for Israel's defense, which may or may not go through, but I guess I personally am a little suspect of a legislative plan suddenly coming from one senator on something as big as security funding for Israel. You don't just submit that for passage. How did you take the decision that came down today?
I took it as predictable in many respects. The Friday before the holiday weekend, the Friday before the vote. Michael Bennett is a serious guy. I don't think you can just make this binary. Did he do this out of political expediency, or did he do this on its merits? Life is complicated. It's probably a mix of both. He's a serious guy. He talked to other serious people. I know he took the issue. He thought about it with some diligence. On the other hand, as David points out, yes, the state, like other states, is approximately 2-1 against the deal in terms of public opinion. But the other factor that is critically important is that his Democratic Party base is in favor of the deal by probably 80-20 or 90-10. And so he is cross-conflicted there. He set it up so he was not the deciding vote. When Barbara Mikulski from Maryland made her announcement 48 hours ago, that became the deciding vote. You have to keep in mind, this is not a vote to approve the deal in as much as, I mean, because there's no way that President Obama would ever get anywhere near 50% support in the Senate to do that. This is simply a vote so that you know that a veto could be sustained. Gotcha. To the bigger issue, and I'll try to be quick about this, I used the word binary earlier. The whole way this has been formulated and presented to the American people is binary. Either you are for this deal or you are against this deal. And my criticism of President Obama, whether it's on this deal or the Cuba package or whatever, is when you get to this position, obviously it's an up or down vote. But he had it within his power to create a better deal. And right now, whether it's the U.S. Senate or the American people in terms of their opinion, you are faced with a binary choice, either yes or no. But the choice is an unfortunate one because there is no good answer out of that, either out of that yes or that no. But if you could dial back the clock, or if we had more skillful negotiators either in the White House or in the State Department, maybe you would have a better deal and this country would be facing a better, more palatable choice.
Sal, wrap it up for us.
I think with Bennett, in general, the Democrats were pushing really, really hard. It was a party line thing within the Senate, and those who had not jumped to immediate support had seen a little bit more blowback and pushback in general. So this was one of those things that they were going to, I feel like, as Democrats, have to fall in with the party line. Having said that, between the 34th vote and I believe the 38th vote that would be his, there was 3 more people who said, yeah, I'm behind it. So Bennett wasn't even the person right after the 34. So I really think he was hedging his bets. And I don't really think, in terms of the Iran deal, while I understand why there might be some opposition to it, it's by no means bilateral with only 2 parties. This is seven countries are dealing with it. Seven powers are dealing with this. So in terms of the binary, yes, in the United States, you're either with or against the deal. But frankly, the deal hasn't been explained very well to the American public. The idea that Iran may or may not still have the bomb is true to an extent, but the level they're allowed to enrich their uranium is so low that it's not weapons grade and it won't be for 15 years, versus a military conflict, which most experts have said will only stop it for about 3 or 4 years. So it could have been a better plan. I don't disagree with that, but I think there are a lot of aspects to it that aren't allowing for a clear view of it. It's being made too binary.